AJ Kazi, he's in waiting, but Stamos gets the ball to start things. Final regular season weekend, so much at stake. Vols and Gamecocks here in Knoxville. Showing bunt immediately, Austin Brendling fouls one to the turf. Strike one to start for Stamos. South Carolina lineup hitting .277 as a team, .263 in conference games. It's going to start with Austin Brendling. This is a team that has a lot of power, but also a lot of patience, Kaylee.
Definitely, and one of the main guys, Ethan Petrie, got some great numbers going for him. .307 batting average, 19 home runs. He is a big game changer for the Gamecocks.
And that's the sophomore in the second hole, Cole Messina, cleanup hitting catcher. A 1-1 start for Brendling, the leadoff man, fifth-year guy, transferred over from North Florida and has been really good in 12 SEC starts, has been the spark that this offense has really needed down the stretch and that they'll continue to look to down the stretch. Takes ball two up and inside. Kingston has not been afraid to shuffle around this batting order, move a few guys who've been struggling. And Brendling has been a guy that has benefited. That 2-1 ripped over to Dean Curley at shortstop, and that's out number one for Tennessee. It's a freshman shortstop for the Volunteers to make up what is a fantastic infield. You've got three guys around there up for a potential National Player of the Year awards, and then Curley, potential freshman All-American. That's just what this Tennessee lineup has been. You saw the offensive numbers, but all around a good team. They're good defensively as well.
Such a solid defense. Dean Curley, only being a freshman, he's playing so mature over there at shortstop. You've got Billy Amick at third base, Christian Moore at second base, Blake Burke at first, and then the outfield just as solid as well. Really couldn't ask for much more as a pitcher. You feel so confident with that kind of defense behind you.
First look for Chris Stamos at Ethan Petrie, slugging sophomore for the Gamecocks in the two-hole. Take strike one. Petrie, .307 average, leads his team 19 home runs, 50 RBIs. Petrie, freshman All-American, normal All-American at 2023. Golden Spike semifinalist for good reason. Hit 23 home runs in his first year. Freshman program record with the Gamecocks, and he's going to fly off the draft boards early next year.
It's no surprise that Petrie is one of the leaders on this Gamecocks team. Definitely one of the driving forces to keep them going and challenging other teammates on the team.
2-2 count for Stamos. Petrie gets a hold of one, ripped well into left field. Backing up is Dreiling, and he'll watch it fly over the wall. Ethan Petrie kicks off this series with a bang. That's home run number 20 for the sophomore. Hit 23 a season ago. And he gives the Gamecocks an early 1-0 advantage.
See the celebration there from the Gamecocks. Just talked about Petrie being a leader, and he's going to lead off here. Get the Gamecocks going for their first run. Absolutely crushes this ball.
That's always the question coming off a down weekend, swept at home to Georgia. It's been an up and down type season for South Carolina. We've seen some highs, seen some lows. Last weekend, certainly a lower series that they've had in SEC play. How do you respond to that? Well, this is certainly a good start.
Definitely, and you expect that kind of response from a player like Petrie. It's going to take other guys on the team stepping up and responding as well if South Carolina hopes to come away with a win here.
Blake Jackson stands in, the junior from Coppell, Texas. Rolls one over right side. Blake Burke called upon. Flip to Stamos for a smooth second out. A good bounce back out for Chris Stamos. Again, has settled in nicely as the Volunteer series opener. 5 starts in SEC.
Out trying to get the team back in the dugout so the offense can start producing.
Look at his first look now at Cole Messina. 298 hitter, 15 home runs, 52 RBIs. Up there is one of the best catchers in all of college baseball. Certainly has been the Gamecocks' strength is his offense and experienced hitters. Messina is one of the best in one of the best conferences in baseball. And a 3-0 start. Messina has not had to lift the bat from his shoulders. Another staple of this South Carolina offense, their ability just to get on base. We saw the power from Ethan Petrie. They can draw walks as well. And Messina that time, so much power, but didn't need to swing the bat. He'll take first.
Coach Kingston spoke to trying to figure out the type of offense that this South Carolina team wanted to be, who they were going to be, and he said now they figured out that they are a patience and a power type offense. That's what they're looking for, and right there Messina does exactly that. He's patient at the plate, now giving his teammate an opportunity to provide the power.
We'll turn things over to Parker Noland, Knoxville native, getting his first at-bat in this series. 5th year graduate transfer from Vanderbilt. Has made a home now in Columbia. Brings a ton of experience, played his high school ball at Farragut just down the road. 267 hitter, 26 RBIs in his 5th year. Check back at first for Stamos, as the Tennessee opener looks to settle in after the 4-pitch walk. Now 6 straight balls from Stamos. And again, the goal has been just to get things rolling for then A.J. Causey to come in and take a bulk amount of innings. Stamos has done a good job at this role. He's embraced it. He's been sharp. Pitched 2 2/3 last week at Tennessee's series win over Vanderbilt, 2 2/3. Gave up just 1 run, 5 strikeouts, a season best. Right now, just having a bit in Lexington. Just depending on the situation and how Stamos looks to start things out. And that 3-0 pitch misses, so back-to-back walks. And the Gamecocks have 2 aboard with 2 outs.
Now batting the left fielder, number 7, Kennedy Jones.
And unfortunately, as a confidence, knowing that he's been there and done that, they can leave him in this situation, and more than likely he's going to be able to get out of it.
Opportunity here for Kennedy Jones. His first swings at Lindsey Nelson Stadium this weekend. The left fielder with 2 aboard and 2 down, the junior from Norfolk, Virginia. And Jones rips that one foul, so Stamos now ahead of the count, 0-2. Jones, 302 hitter, 46 RBIs, picked up from UNC Greensboro. Both teams utilized the portal well this past offseason. Oh, 2 from Stamos. He misses high. Four hits, 3 RBIs for Jones this past weekend against Georgia. RBI chance here in the first. Stamos hits the zone and shuts down the inning. Battles back after allowing the home.
They all work together well because they're all coming out of the same slot, so it makes it very difficult to be able to see the difference between these pitches.
Team leader in ERA and strikeouts in SEC play, 46 punch-outs in SEC games this season. He's been really good, but like Tennessee, he was sort of in the A.J. Causey role where he was following an opener, but South Carolina, they did not like that strategy coming into this weekend. They felt like maybe they were getting a bit behind with the opener strategy. Ty Good has been pitching fantastic up to this point. Why not just go ahead and start?
That's right, Andy. They felt like they had been getting behind a little bit in the game with that opener, so decided just to put Ty out there. They believe that he's going to give them the best opportunity to win this game.
Well, he's going to have to go head-to-head with one of the toughest and biggest offenses in the nation in this Volunteer lineup. That's what Tony Vitello goes with, and right at the top is Christian Moore, one of the more dangerous hitters in the conference. 377, 24 home runs now is tied the single-season program record.
Christian Moore, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous hitters in the country. He's so well-rounded. He can hit, obviously, the long ball, but also can just get things rolling for the offense, whether that be a single or a double. It doesn't have to be anything super flashy, but that is very flashy.
Christian Moore, deep center. It's gone. Stands alone at the top of Tennessee's program record book. 25th home run on the year. Early equalizer for Tennessee. Record book's been thrown out the window, and just like he did last week, solo to start.
There's no better way to respond from the solo shot in the first to this solo shot in the bottom of the first from Christian Moore. Now tied 1-1. He's put so much distance between himself and his teammates.
Home run number 25 for Moore. He now has surpassed Sonny Cortez, who hit 24 home runs in 1998. Already is the team's career leader in home runs, has now just added to the record books.
He is really trying to make a case for that SEC Player of the Year.
Got all of it, 112 off the bat, 432 the distance. And Tennessee does not stay behind in this ball game for long. Adds to, as you mentioned, Kalen, potential SEC Player of the Year type season. That's now his 18th home run in SEC play. I'm going to say Burt goes around on that pitch. Tony Vitello not happy with the decision. That's going to be strike two on Blake Burke. Count now 1-2. Burke opposite way, hit well and foul.
That's one thing that I love about Coach Tony Vitello is that he fights for his players. No matter the situation, he is going to make sure that they know that he's got their back.
That pitch misses. Count now even as Ty Good looks to battle back. He's got another power hitter from the left side this time with Blake Burke. 15 homers, 368 hitter, and 44 RBIs. Second on Tennessee's all-time home run list. South Carolina got the early advantage, but Christian Moore has brought some energy to this building. And a little fire from the head man helps add to it.
And truly, I think that players want to play for a coach that has that kind of fire.
Ball on the ground, Lee Croy to first. That's the first down of the inning.
Now batting the third baseman, number 11, Billy Amick.
One run home, one down now in the bottom of the first. That Turns things over now for Billy Amick, the junior, South Carolina native. 45 starts in his first year on Rocky Top, 347, 18 home runs, and 48 RBIs. Just top to bottom, this Tennessee order is dangerous, but that top half specifically.
That's right, Andy. It's almost like these opposing pitchers can't even take a breath in between this lineup. You're facing Christian Moore, then Blake Burke, Billy Amick, Dylan Dreiling, and just continues. Hunter Ensley, Kavaris Tears. There's so many guys on this lineup that can make a difference.
317 team average that leads the SEC. It's 10th in the nation. Christian Moore's home run was number 135 on the year for this bunch. Program record is 158. That happened 2 years ago. Amick on the 0-2. Hard hit, line drive, base hit.
Now batting the left fielder, number 8, Dylan
Amick hitting that
Dreiling.
just over the head of Leroy. Trying to keep things going now for the Volunteers.
3 batters, 2 base hits for the Volunteers. Dylan Dreiling's turn. He gets the bump up to the cleanup role, the sophomore out of Kansas. And you just add up this top half of the order. You got guys all hitting over 330. You got guys all with 15-plus home runs that can do damage. It's not an easy way to start a ball game.
No, you have to be so careful and do your best to follow your pitching plan. Whatever the plan is that you have for that specific hitter, you've got to be able to execute it, as well as limit free passes with an offense that hits with so much power. You can't allow guys to get on base via the free pass.
Counts 1-2 for Dreiling. 7 hits and 2 RBIs last week in a Tennessee series victory over Vanderbilt. They won game 1 and game 2. In game 3, they were shut out. 3-0 win for the Commodores. That ball's to the backstop. Amick, a slow jog to second. Michaela, that was the first time this Tennessee offense, which has been the driving force of this team, had been shut out in a game all year. Able to bounce back well in the midweek against Belmont. But it's just like South Carolina's doing with their series of Georgia. You have to flush those moments.
Definitely, and you're right, Andy. They came back against Belmont and scored 5 runs in the first inning. Definitely came out punching.
Ty Good collects his first strikeout. He has 21 total strikeouts in his last 3 outings. That's his first of the evening. It's a big second out to retire Dreiling. Ty Good is a career strikeout hurler, active SEC career leader, 338 now. As he is one of College of Charleston's best pitchers all time. Fifth-year graduate transfer, CAA Pitcher of the Year last year. You can see that upward motion. And that's what you were mentioning, Kaylin, throws hitters off.
Right, when everything is coming out of that straight over the top arm slot, it's so hard to recognize. That's what makes his off-speed changeup so good.
That ball's going to kick away from Messina. Amick now 90 feet away at third. Hunter Ensley now with a chance to give Tennessee the lead. 257 hitter, 32 RBIs, 7 homers on the year. Two-one misses low, fastball down. Ensley has taken ownership of the center field job. slower start to the season, but has become comfortable at the plate. He's in the 5th spot in the lineup tonight. That ball is going to skip to Messina. Good. Well off on that 3-1. Runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Nice job by Messina, able to keep that ball in front. We've seen him just having to work through it, but South Carolina wanting to utilize him more going into postseason and the tournament in this starting role. Definitely want to get him more reps.
Pitching coach Matt Williams out to the bump. A word with Ty Good before he faces Kavares Tears with 2 aboard for Tennessee. Another power hitting bat. The Volunteers. Tears 15 home runs, 39 RBIs, 339 hitter. And a home run type swing. Hunter Inslee casually able to get to second, so 2 in scoring position now. Pair of home runs for both sides. That's the difference so far. Christian Moore and Ethan Petrie, 2 of the best hitters in the conference. Volunteers were not down long, but a chance to grab their first lead in the 1st. One-two home. That's down an inside fastball, misses. And a 2-2 coming up. 1 hit for Tears last weekend against Vanderbilt. It was a big one. A 2-run home run that gave Tennessee the lead late in game 1. Two pitch, off speed misses, full count on the way. First base is open. And a good trying to survive back-to-back walks here.
One of the things that makes Kavares Tears so good is his pitch recognition. He's got 35 walks on the year. Does a great job of knowing when to swing.
At 3-2, goes down chasing one and good. His second punch out of the inning. Strands 2 balls in scoring position, but Christian Moore breaking records and tying up the ball game. All even again, 1 run apiece. Chris Stamos gets the nod to head back out to the mound. He's got 7, 8, 9 now with this Gamecock lineup. Stamos ran into a bit of trouble, gave up the home run to Petrie, and then walked a pair, but now given the nod to start fresh in the 2nd. And that's the one thing about Tony Vitello, Frank Anderson, and this pitching staff is they're not afraid to, if a guy's struggling, give them that nod of confidence, especially for a veteran like Stamos to tough it out. Maybe not tough it out, but get another inning.
And sometimes the first innings are difficult because the adrenaline is going, you're excited, and it takes an inning or 2 even to just settle down and get that confidence going. And I'm sure that's what Stamos is feeling right now.
Stamos rings up Reeves, has him looking, a punch out to start the 2nd.
Now batting the shortstop, number 5, Talmadge LeCroy.
It'll sit down Reeves to start the inning. One of the hotter hitters in the Gamecock lineup, and we'll turn it over to Talmadge LeCroy, a junior South Carolina native with no one on. LeCroy 246, 3 homers, 25 RBIs. It's on base, 36 walks, 412 on base percentage. That 2-0 sit in the air. Shift was on to the left side, so Moore having to range a good bit of ways. Kavares Tears doesn't mind calling him off for the second out.
This inning much more efficient for Stamos, getting that strikeout to set the tone, and now that pop-up.
Again, as you mentioned, those first innings, a lot of adrenaline. You're coming in last weekend. It's at home. Wearing the dark mode uniforms, the top 25 matchup. There's a lot of energy that comes with that, but a good chance you see a guy like Christian Moore hit a home run, square things even again, a good chance to breathe.
100%. It definitely makes you feel better as a pitcher when your offense is able to produce and get you right back into the game.
He's got Gavin Casas, who just took a ricochet right up near the noggin. Don't see that one too often. The senior will laugh it off. Another start at third base. It's a good luxury that you can have a guy like Casas hit 19 home runs last year, 8 home runs this year, batting the 9th spot.
Definitely. It's a great way to turn over the lineup.
You can see the power swing. Went through the off speed from Stamos, but yeah, there's a lot of juice in that bat from the left side.
You've got Casas, a senior. There are a lot of upperclassmen in this South Carolina lineup. Ethan Petrie, the only sophomore. Everyone else either a senior or a junior.
This one crushed opposite way for Casas near the warning track. Dreiling is back and he's got it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Stamos.
See from your team going into this weekend and going into the stretch of postseason, and he said, I just want to see him keep playing good baseball. That's really all that they need to do. They've been really on top of things. The pitching has really come together. Offense has been great all season long, and so has the defense.
Yeah, Tennessee, since 2020, they have 210 overall wins, the only SEC program over 200. In that span, obviously, regular season tournament titles in 2022. You go to Omaha in 21 and 23. Every year it feels like they're just trying to top that prior year. This team now 2 straight weeks of being #1, but at this point, Tony Vitello doesn't as much care about the ranking, home run records. They just want to win a national championship.
Definitely, and Coach Vitello, he makes me laugh in his interviews, and he was asked about what it was like coming in, being ranked #1, and he was like, you know, I have no say over that. I don't know. And then he got into this spiel about Leonardo DiCaprio and the Oscars, and I don't. But definitely, he's very happy with where his team is at right now, and he feels confident going into the postseason.
3-2 pitch on the way for Dean Curley, freshman shortstop. A high bouncer to Lee Croy. Good play on the ball. One shortstop to the other for out #1. And we've already seen animated Tony Vitello early in this game. So he's fired up for this game 1. A good play here for Lee Croy.
Yeah, big play here. He was shaded a little bit more towards the middle, so able to make that play easily.
One down here in the second. Now Colby Backus gets a chance as he gets to start in the DH spot for Tennessee. This has been the big question mark. Tennessee's offense has been among the best in the conference, among the best in the nation, but they have not found a consistent designated hitter yet. Colby Backus has been really good. 4 starts, 23 games, 5 home runs, 444 average. A lot of the damage in midweek games. Why not? Let's give him a start here in game 1.
Colby Backus hit a absolute shot in the midweek game this past week against Belmont. Definitely one of those guys that Coach Vitello feels confident putting in the game. He said he actually feels good with about 16 or 17 of his guys that he could put into that spot. It's a really great problem to have when you've got so much depth.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it also is, you know, what matchup do you play? Do you ride the hot hand? You've got a lot more decision making before each game than maybe you'd want at this point, but Tony Vitello is not afraid to shuffle it up and give Backus the opportunity. He has been fantastic at midweeks. Didn't play last weekend, but big opportunity for him. That 2-2's in there, strike three. Backus will go down looking. Third strikeout for Ty Good.
Now batting the catcher, number 10, Cal Stark.
And just like Chris Stamos half inning ago, we're seeing Ty Good settle in for the bottom of the order. Gave up that early home run to Christian Moore. A walk and then a single to Billy Amick put two in scoring position, but a massive strikeout to end the first, giving him some momentum now for the second. We'll get the 9-hole hitter Cal Stark, senior catcher. Ropes one, right field on a line, tracking the ball and making the play. Blake Jackson has it on the run. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ty Good.
Causey as well, that Stamos was able to go those 2 innings. Not only giving them a different look here, but also saving his arm.
Stamos 2 full innings, allowed just 1 hit, and it was the home run from Ethan Petrie, who will see this inning. But a really good bounce back for Stamos to go 1-2-3 in the second, where Causey now will start the top of the order with Austin Brindling. Counts 0-2. That pitch misses. Stamos, talk about Ty Good with that upwards arm slot. Causey has that side slot, frisbee type pitches. That pitch runs in and hits Brindling. Was ahead 0-2 in the count. That one got away from him. Base runner to start the third for South Carolina.
And that's tough, giving a free pass there in that hit by pitch. Now stepping up Ethan Petrie, who hit that solo shot in the first inning.
I'm backing in.
Petrie wasted no time to start this ball game. It's a solo shot to left, and now he's got a runner on and no one out to work with. 20th home run on the year, RBI 51. So much power in the bat of Ethan Petrie. He's getting his first look at A.J. Causey. Just cannot grab that off speed. That was the slider. Well away from the bat of Petrie. 0-2.
There's just a ton of movement on that pitch, and then with it coming out of that funky sidearm delivery, so hard to recognize.
Petrie thought about chasing the slider again. He lays off. 1-2. South Carolina, effective team with runners on. They're not afraid to run, not afraid to try to advance runners. Obviously, with Petrie at the plate, you want him swinging away, but a guy like Blake Jackson on deck, he's good at laying down the bunt. Look back at first. Another thing you have to consider, Cal Stark, fantastic defensive catcher for Tennessee. Back pick to first has been effective, and then also can get guys going to second. Strike three. Petrie goes down looking. Causey, a huge get. Sits down the power hitter.
Massive strikeout for Causey. That ball, fantastic on the outside corner. Absolutely freezes Petrie.
Well, with one out, Blake Jackson stands in. He's got good speed, 15 stolen bases, 7 sacrifice bunts leads this team. And Brindling with 3 stolen bases over at first. We'll see Jackson's approach. Jackson has been slotted up to the 3 spot in this lineup in early May. Has done a really good job in the spot. 3 hits, 2 RBIs against Georgia last weekend, and can really move those runners around, and he's nestled right in between 2 big bats for South Carolina, Petrie and Messina.
Definitely seems like a more consistent hitter. Doesn't have the power numbers of some of the other guys, but gets on base pretty often. Slugging percentage looks good.
On the move, Jackson ropes one right field away. Home run distance there, but it's foul.
He was trying to prove me wrong with what I just said about
He
him
heard you.
not having the power numbers of the other guys. So my apologies, Jackson.
Nelson Brindling back to first, who was moving on the pitch. Jackson 35 hits and 113 at-bats. The .310 average that leads the team. 9th in the SEC in on-base percentage. That 1-2 just misses outside. The fastball from Kazi is ball 2.
That was a nice miss. I mean, it had to have just been 1 or 2 balls off the plate. Didn't miss by much.
Jackson 0 for 1, a ground out back in the first for him. He's provided some big moments to the South Carolina team. His first year transfer from Charlotte. Two. That fastball outside. Count now full. Mixed bag so far from Kazi. He hit Austin Brindling. He struck out Ethan Petrie, and now 3-2 on the way. Runner on the move. Strikeout swinging. Throw down from Stark. And the ball is going to get away from Curley. So on to second goes Brindley, but back-to-back punch-outs for A.J. Kazi.
Filthy pitch from Kazi, and I thought we might see a strike him out, throw him out situation.
Good get on the 3-2 for Kazi. He leads his Tennessee team, 87 strikeouts on the year. It's tied for 8th in the SEC. Fewest walks among starters as well, 14 walks. It's the Tennessee staff that they limit walks better than most teams. Just 72 now in SEC play. That's the top at conference games.
That's huge, especially in this conference.
Bulk of this South Carolina lineup, Cole Messina, a chance to drive in a run. Earned a walk back in the first, hasn't had to swing the bat. And that slider gets away. .52 RBIs for Cole Messina. 51 runs, also leads the team. Top 15 in the conference in both categories. He'll take strike 2. You can tell maybe he wanted that one back. Back-to-back Ks for A.J. Kazi here in his first inning of work. That 2-2 just misses the fastball. Tennessee infield is about to walk off the field. Instead, another 3-2 here for Kazi coming up.
I really don't know where that pitch missed. That was a nice pitch, but blew behind the plate. He's being tough on the corners.
That 3-2 did not miss. Kazi, 3 straight strikeouts to shut Charlie Condon, obviously, better numbers on the year, but in just pure SEC play, Simo is doing unthinkable things. This one dead center again. Oh my goodness, he's done it again.
How about back-to-back leadoff home runs from Christian Moore?
It is unthinkable at this point what Christian Moore's doing in Knoxville. First pitch of the inning. His second home run. He's accounted for all the offense today.
It's light work for Christian Moore. He tattoos this ball over the wall and puts the Vols ahead now 2-1.
Calm, cool, composed bat flip. He is just on another level right now. 26 home runs. And the thing is, he has 19 of those in SEC play.
And I think that's what you have to look at when you're voting for SEC Player of the Year. You've got to look at what they've done in conference. I think that's what merits SEC Player of the Year.
Leads the SEC in conference play in hits, average, RBIs, and now with 2 home runs today, he is in front of Charlie Condon for home runs in SEC play. So that is the triple crown in conference stats.
I think that should be an accolade.
Blake Burke in the air. This one's going to stay in the ballpark. Brinling into the mitt for out number 1.
Now batting the third baseman, number 11.
Now we'll be watching Charlie Condon closely this weekend and Jack Caglione. Those two are playing one another. The thing is, though, about Jack Cags and Charlie Condon, they might not get to swing the bat. It might just be an intentional walk fest between Florida and Georgia this weekend over in Athens.
And what's so crazy about this lineup is that you really can't intentionally walk Christian Moore because then you've got Blake Burke and Billy Amick coming up behind him.
At what point, though, do you consider that? I know that the lineup is so potent behind him as well, but he's 2 for 2, 2 swings with the home runs. Amick up the middle, and that is out number 2. Hit well, but right to Brinling.
I guess you just have to weigh the pros and cons of the situation.
That's what makes it so hard with Christian Moore being your leadoff guy. It's just right from the start, you get one of the best hitters in the nation. And then the bulk of the lineup to follow. The only downside to him being in the leadoff spot is those are a pair of solo home runs for Tennessee.
Right, and that was actually something I thought about. You love him in that leadoff spot. He definitely sets the tone, gets the momentum going for the Volunteers, but it keeps his RBI numbers potentially not where they could be, even though his numbers are fantastic. But, I mean, imagine him being in like that 2 or 3 slot. He could have more.
59 RBIs leads his Tennessee team. Fantastic. Second on this Tennessee team RBIs is this man right here, Dylan Dreiling, 56. 7 hits last weekend. Ty Good has done well. It really has just been Christian Moore. I mean, at a certain point, you just have to tip your cap. The player is playing at the level Christian Moore is here today.
Right, or change the pitching plan. I don't know. Got to go at him with something different.
A walk, Dylan Dreiling. It's his second walk here of the afternoon. Yeah, it's a bit of a different approach for Ty Good today when he was working with the opener, you know, not asked to maybe pitch as much as he will be today. The goal for Mark Kingston and his bunch is going to be to completely just skip over the opener and have Ty Good throw those innings as well. Hope is that he can get to 100 pitches and we look up and, hey, we're, you know, in the 6th or 7th inning. It is a lot of TBD, though, for Mark Kingston and his pitching staff the rest of the way. They shake things up here for game 1, and then from there, hey, let's just see where things are at. Let's feel out the rest of the weekend. Dreiling over to second. The ball gets away from Messina.
That's the 3rd time the ball has gotten away from Messina. I don't know if he's having a hard time, maybe with that pitch coming off of the turf, or if there's a mislocation from Good.
A quick little break to get communications in order. Walk Dreiling, and now 2 straight balls to Hunter Ensley in the 5 spot, who walked back in the 1st. And now a 3-0 start. Tennessee looking for a bit of a 2-out momentum. RBI chance as well. 3-0 pitch. No need to swing. Ensley's got first base. 2 aboard now. Back-to-back walks from Good.
Now batting
You can see some guys headed out to the South Carolina bullpen.
Yeah, with the Tennessee offense is as potent as this, you know, the hope is that Ty Good gets you in a good starting spot for the bullpen and the starters the rest of the way.
And like you said, Andy, he really hadn't done anything too terrible other than the home runs to Christian Moore, but these free passes, that's what's going to kill him.
Yeah, coming in to this afternoon, 46 strikeouts, just 15 walks in SEC games this year. His ERA best in conference play, 3.24. And Tears just gets on top of one, fouls it away. Good. In his last out against Georgia, he pitched 4 full innings and gave up 4 earned runs off 5 hits. Those are the most hits, most earned runs that he's had in an outing this season. Tears, opposite way, hit well, heading towards the party porches, and it's gone. 3-run shot. Tavares Tears opens things up here in the 3rd.
Tavares Tears, he goes down and gets that ball and lifts it over left field. Busting things open now for the Volunteers. It's home run central today. Now leading by 4.
Second home run of the inning. First home run for Tennessee by a man not named Christian Moore. Tavares Tears, his 16th of the year. And that's a big one. Brings in a pair with him. 3 runs go on the board just like that. And where Ty Good was just an out away getting out of this inning, he walks 2 and it comes back to hurt him.
That's exactly right, Andy. We just spoke about how the free passes could kill him, and they do right there. Tavares Tears hitting that home run. Could have just been another solo shot without those free passes.
Tears showing off his ability to go the other way. That has been just a huge addition to his arsenal this year. Power to both sides. Curley following it up with the ground ball, and that's the inning. 4 runs for the #1 ranked team in the country. They lead by 4. Here.
See, truly, Coach Kingston said he's never seen anything like it, that the SEC is similar to a meat grinder where you're just being consistently ground up and you have to continue to fight and grind through the highs and the lows of the season. But he said it prepares this team so well for postseason, and he said if you can just make it through the stretch of the SEC and make it to that tournament time, you're good.
Yeah, you will have played after this weekend all top 5 SEC teams in a series in terms of the standings. You know, every weekend in the SEC is going to be a challenge, but sometimes you get a bit more unluckier than some other teams. Tennessee, they don't have to play Arkansas and Texas A&M. South Carolina, they do. And you throw in games against Clemson, North Carolina. You're facing off against the entire top 7 in terms of RPI.
Right. I mean, having to face off against the SEC teams and then also the better teams in the ACC.
Yeah, but certainly last week you get swept at home. It is a turning point where you kind of look at yourselves and say, all right, you know, we've got to flush this weekend, but we also have to decide, you know, what is this season going to look like for this South Carolina team? You went to a super regional last season, fell short. You have hopes to get back there. You got to get in the right direction. This could be two for Tennessee. It is double play with A.J. Causey at the helm to start it.
Nice job by Causey being able to field his position there. Getting that lead runner at second was, I think, a little bit of a miscommunication there between Christian Moore and Dean Curley, but Christian Moore able to make the play.
A good turn from the Volunteers as Kennedy Jones goes up the middle, and it erases that leadoff walk to Parker Nolan. Now 2 outs, no one on for the designated hitter Dalton Reeves. In South Carolina, that RPI at 19. Right there on the cusp of being a potential host. Dalton Reeves down the line. That's going to be a base hit. Rolls all the way to the corner. He's going to search for 2, and he's got a 2-out double standing up.
Blake Burke runs into first base umpire Kevin Sweeney there. That ball goes all the way to the corner, allowing for a stand-up double, 2 outs. So Causey doesn't have to worry too much about that runner.
Lee Croy back in, RBI chance. Fly out back in the second. First pitch taken is A.J. Causey in his second inning of work. 3 strikeouts in the third inning, and now looking to put another scoreless frame on the board. Only run for the South Carolina offense, the solo homer for Ethan Petrie back in the first. That fastball just misses. 3-0 to Lee Croy.
Home plate umpire Matthew Wilbanks is not giving those corners on either side, forcing the pitchers to have to come over the plate.
Causey hits it that time on the fastball, 3-1. Causey got a win in his last outing, his 9th of the season. It's tied for the most in the SEC. 6 1/3 against Vanderbilt. Only 5 hits, 3 earned runs. His only blemish there came in the 6th inning, but battled back to keep Vanderbilt scoreless the rest of the way.
Causey, he's got such great movement that he can throw those pitches over the plate because they move through the zone. See some pitchers who do have to rely on hitting those corners because their movement maybe isn't as sharp, but that's not the problem for Causey.
Another 3-2 on the way. 3 strikeouts already for Causey today. And there's a 4th. Causey wins the battle, leaves Lee Croy frozen. That concludes the top of the total. 317 on the year, hovering around 300 in conference games. Again, it has just been the staple of this Tennessee team, and it has been for years, the ability to hit for power, but it is so much more than that. Disciplined approaches, guys able to get on base, and guys able top to bottom through the lineup to bring them home.
Coach Vitello has spoken about this offense and just what they've been able to accomplish, and he said that their hitting is contagious. Once one of them gets rolling, the other ones tend to follow right behind.
Last 5 series, though, for Tennessee, there has been a small dip in production compared to the astounding numbers they're putting up. And I mean, a small dip for Tennessee is still one of the best in the conference offensively, but first 12 SEC games, you're almost at 10 runs a game. Your last 15 games, you're about 6.5. So just somewhat of a blip. Some of that is just, you know, SEC has good pitching.
And I think it forces your team to have to learn to win other ways than just hitting the home run. And that's so beneficial going into the postseason. You know, hey, guys, we maybe aren't hitting the long ball right now, but we know how to still win. We know how to still make things happen and grind it out.
Strike three, swinging the foul tip into the mitt. Colby Backus, second time he is retired. He got the start in the DH spot. He is 0 for 2.
That's a nice fastball up in the zone to get that strikeout for good.
It'll be interesting to see if Backus is the guy next time to the DH spot in the lineup. Tennessee used 5 different guys last weekend against Vanderbilt. 3 in that first game. Again, it's going to be a designated hitting system by committee until maybe someone jumps up, gets hot, takes the spot, takes ownership in it. But as of now, the starter in the DH, Tony Vitello has said he's there thinking about the first at bat. The rest of the way could be anyone.
Good. There's definitely a lot of different guys that Coach Vitello could pull off the bench. Reese Chapman, one of them, Dalton Bargo especially. He even stated that Bargo is one of the best hitters on the team and that they look for certain situations to put him in because he is so effective.
Just something about that DH spot hasn't clicked yet for Tennessee. Last 5 series, DH spot 4 for 49 at the plate. It's a good Tennessee lineup, but you never want a spot that is not as much a factor as the rest. Cal Stark takes ball 4. The other pro to that, though, is that, hey, this Tennessee team is #1. Their offense is still doing good things, yet there's, still unanswered questions. You feel like you can be that much better still.
Now Christian Moore does have a runner on, so if he can three-peat it here, he'll have at least one other RBI.
Yeah, it has been 2 massive swings to dead center, 2 home runs. He broke the single season record with the first swing and decided he wanted to add a bit more to that cushion. And I mean, it is excitement every time he stands in now. Take a look at where he shakes out. Those are numbers entering tonight. Home runs are now up to 19, RBIs up to 40. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on Charlie Condon, but as of now, the home run number is above Condon, so he is first across the board in all of those hitting categories.
Right here we see Ty Good. He is being so careful with the pitches that he's throwing Christian Moore.
What becomes the approach at this point? You've given up 2 home runs dead central, have to switch it around.
I mean, in this situation, you have to try to get Christian Moore to swing himself out of this at bat, so not give him anything too sweet over the plate.
Hard line drive, caught over at second by Nolan, over to first. That's a double play. Cal Stark wants a review. Likely going to look at that second out. Certainly got the first. A hard hit ball. A hit taken away with Nolan in the right spot. Coming up.
And that's so important because, I mean, that is a momentum shifter for South Carolina. If they were able to get that double play, they're going into the dugout feeling pretty good.
Gives Blake Burke a chance here. He's 0 for 2. Power lefty, 44 RBIs on the year. Shift is on for him. Three hits for Burke last weekend against Vanderbilt. It's just been a fantastic year for the junior. Only hit .211 in SEC play last year. Up to .353 in SEC games, second on this Tennessee team. Burke also owned a 31-game hit streak at one point this season. Like Kavars Tears as well, has developed some good opposite way power. At 2-2, lunged at, heading for the left central gap on the run. Brindling, he won't catch up to it. One hopper off the wall. Hard turn from third. Here comes Cal Start. 2-out RBI for Blake Burke.
That's an outside pitch that Blake Burke is able to stick with and hit it into that left center gap. And this goes back to now how big that play at first base was.
Yeah, Volunteers able to cash in. It would have been straight to the dugouts. Instead, you bring a guy like Blake Burke up, and that goes to your point, Kalen, about intentionally walking a guy like Christian Moore, because you got a guy like Blake Burke who can drive in runs just as well.
Right, and if not Blake Burke, then Billy Amick. If not Billy Amick, Dylan Dreiling.
Scary. Amick 1 for 2, had a loud single back in the first, and then a hard hit ball to center field. It was caught by Brindling. Amick has made the most of his lone season here on Rocky Top before he heads to the MLB draft. Makes his way over from Clemson. Missed a stretch of games in the middle of SEC play, but really did not miss a step in that time. Jumps right back in. On the ground, bouncer over to Lee Croy, and that's the final out of the frame. So Tennessee grabs another off the RBI double from Blake Burke. They extend their lead by 5.
Going to be something this year. All the way back in the fall, he said the guys were really just zoned in. They were all in for the culture and what they were trying to do as a team.
You talk about how hard it is to be consistent in this conference. I mean, you look at an LSU team that wins the national championship last year. They got 10 SEC wins this year. They're right there on the breaking point of making Hoover. Regional berth in question for them. As Casas rolls one over, that'll be out number 1. Ray J. Causey here in the 5th, but the fact that Tennessee has stayed pretty much atop of this conference. You look at last year, they went through some growing pains after that dominant 2022 season, but still found a way to Omaha. And it's not like it's also easy, and you just bring in the players. Tony Vitello has often shown that he is willing to take risks with his team, like what he's been doing here with A.J. Causey, bringing him out of the bullpen when, maybe he's a starter, but he's going to take those risks along with his coaching staff to make this team their best by the end of the year.
And honestly, baseball now is so different from how it used to be pre-transfer portal, pre-NIL. And coaches have had to adapt to be able to survive. And I think that this Tennessee coaching staff has done such a great job of really embracing the recruiting trail and how that's changed and everything that else that has changed with technology. And that's what's made them so successful moving forward, is being able to adapt.
Yeah, at the beginning of conference play, you would have, without a doubt been saying, hey, Tennessee's offense is carrying the weight for the Tennessee pitching staff. You lose A.J. Russell to injury. A.J. Causey, a couple of rough starts early. And you say, hey, they need to figure out that staff. Well, the last few weeks, it's been the pitching staff that's almost, been trying to pick up Tennessee's offense. Staff has been putting up great numbers. 3.80 team ERA, that's second in the conference, 4th in the nation. And it feels like, again, it's just been a year where they're trying to figure out the pieces still. Causey dialed in, another strikeout.
Just absolutely disgusting movement on that pitch from A.J. Causey. Getting these hitters to swing at his pitches.
That is strikeout number 5 for A.J. Causey. His first strikeout, this guy right here, Ethan Petrie. Home run for him in the first. That is the lone run for South Carolina. One of just 2 hits for this Gamecock offense. And for their series last week against Georgia, which they were swept, offensively they still did their thing. 21 total runs. You know, typically you think you score 21 runs in an SEC series, you're coming away with a win.
But really, you have to have everything clicking for you to be able to find success in the SEC. You can't just have offense. You have to have offense and pitching. Your defense has to be able to make plays. You can't give up those errors or free passes.
Now tip it to the mitt, strike 2. Yeah, the Gamecocks caught a hold of one of the hottest teams in the nation with Georgia. They've won 8 straight, going into their series this afternoon against Florida at home. This 2-2, that hits Petrie. Causey was just a strike away from getting out of the 5th, and now a base runner.
And unfortunately, that is one of the things that you have to deal with as a pitcher who has so much movement, is that sometimes the pitch is going to move a little bit too much and get away from you.
Georgia currently leading Florida 7-2, so the Bulldogs looking to continue their hot stretch of play. On the ground, Blake Jackson, Curly to Moore, and that's the 3rd out. So hit batter does not come back to hurt Causey, make it 4 hits through 4 innings of work at the plate.
We've definitely seen the power from the Volunteers. It's been pretty consistent so far, scoring in 3 out of the 4 innings that they've played. Now headed into the bottom of the 5th, we'll see if they can add a few more insurance runs here.
Yeah, Ty Good, he throws 4 innings, which is what he threw last week against Georgia. 6 runs allowed, all of them earned. And he felt the full force of Christian Moore at the top of the lineup. And with 4-5-6-2 up in this inning, will be Tyler Pitzer to take over. A freshman making a 17th outing. Top arm prospect out of Pennsylvania, has been really good in his first season.
Now the freshman has to face one of the toughest offenses in the country.
And the numbers have been good for the righty. He's made 5 starts this year, 4 wins, 1 loss, 4.29 ERA. And that fastball's in there, 91 miles an hour. You see the numbers there.
He's got a good strikeout to walk ratio, which the Gamecocks are looking for right now, giving up a few free passes earlier in the game. Allowed some extra runs to be scored.
Sharp off speed on that, 2-1 hits the zone. He gets Dylan Dreiling 0 for 1, strikeout and a walk. He scored on the Kavares Steers home run. Dreiling flashed into left. Jones has it for out number 1, and it'll get Pitzer settled here in the 5th.
Now batting the center fielder, number 9, Hunter Inslee.
Now you assess what Ty Good did. He's been the best arm for South Carolina in SEC play, but a few walks, 4 free passes, that is going to be the difference. That comes back to bite him at the end with the 6 runs allowed.
That's right, Andy, and I think that if he didn't give up those walks, we may still see him out there.
Yeah, you scratch off those Christian Moore home runs. That is a good hitter, being a good hitter, one of the best in the nation. And then the free passes, Kavares Steers jumping all over that 3-run home run. You walk Cal Stark, he scores. And now it's bullpen the rest of the way. Hunter Inslee right back to Kennedy Jones. This one high in the air. Having a battle, a bit of sun and shade out and left.
Now batting the right fielder, number 21, Kavares Steers.
Smooth start for the freshman Pitzer. 2 up, 2 down on a pair of fly balls. And now Kavares Tears, a 3-run homer back in the third, has given Tennessee good separation. 16th on the year. You know, teams still shift for Kavares Tears. They'll put all their guys over on the right side, but a lot of his hits are into left.
And that's part of his game that he's worked really hard on coming into this season, is being able to hit to all parts of the field. Coach Vitello has spoken to all of the work that Kavares Tears has put into himself as a player. He has been in the weight room. He's been watching what he's eating, really paid attention to his nutrition. And he said he's preparing like a pro would.
Rocket up the middle. Lee Croy stabs it from the knees. And a good play for out number 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's right. They are going to need to rely on these two, but also the rest of their team needs to be able to step up. We've talked about having to click in every aspect of the game. Pitching has to step up, defense has to step up, and other hitters in the lineup have to step up. You can't just rely on two guys.
Messina to lead off this 6th inning. He's 0 for 1, a strikeout, and then walked back in the first. We'll get A.J. Causey again, who's out now for his 4th inning of work. He stepped in the 3rd. Messina hit well. Dead central. Backing up is Inslee. He won't get there. It's over the batter's eye. And both preseason All-Americans now for South Carolina have left the yard. A spark here for the Gamecocks. Messina.
That ball left a little too sweet over the heart of the plate. Messina able to get good barrel to it. Hits it over the wall. Fortunately, though, for Causey, the Volunteers have been able to put up a lot of insurance runs. They still lead by 4.
First pitch to Parker Nolan, right back to A.J. Causey. What a stab and a great play from the pitcher.
A little PFP, pitcher's fielding practice for Causey.
We'll sit down Parker Nolan for the first time. And now Kenny Jones, no one on and 1 down. So for Cole Messina, that is home run number 16. Hit 17 of them last year, and numbers have been just as good. On track for yet another All-American year.
And that's what you expect. The Volunteers, they know that Petrie and Messina are going to be the two guys who are probably going to provide the power. So no surprise there for Causey. Has to focus on these other hitters being able to get those outs.
Yeah, at a certain point for South Carolina, get aggressive, swing the bat a bit more. A couple of strikeouts, you know, the bat's on your shoulders. You've got 3 hits in this ball game, 2 solo home runs. Petrie and Messina. Causey records a strikeout on Jones. Great comeback after the home run to lead off the frame.
And a couple of solo shots aren't going to beat you, especially with A.J. Causey pitching like this, getting another strikeout.
Dalton Reeves is the other hit on the board for South Carolina. He doubled his last time up. It was back in the 4th. Reeves has been a great spark for the South Carolina team. This is start number 24 for him. 283 average in SEC play, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs in conference. 2-homer game on Friday, 4th and 6th inning in that series against Georgia. We've
talked about Reeves being a spark for this offense. him and Brinlink, they were non-starters in the first half of the year, but because a couple of guys were struggling, it gave them the opportunities that they needed, and they have ran with it. Reeves coming into this game, 9 home runs and 80 at-bats.
Yeah, Kazi and Stark, fantastic relationship. Kazi said that Stark has just got a real calming presence about him, and it has helped. When you give up a run, you still have Stark there able to calm you down.
And that's huge. Catchers, they have to be like a chameleon almost, being able to change their personalities for their pitchers, knowing exactly what that pitcher needs to get back into things or to be calmed down if the situation calls for it.
That 2-2 just misses. And Reeves will live to see a 3-2. Got him swinging. Kazi, strikeout number 7. Effective outing. And that ends.
Coach Vitello and staff definitely know how to recruit some talented players, but also develop players.
Yeah, a lot of credit. Hitting coach Josh Elander, who mans third base side. As these guys are ready to go every single season, off season. Dean Curley on the ground. Casas, a good scoop and a good pick for Petrie over at first for out 1. That program record certainly in danger, 158. Tennessee's hit 3 today, so you're getting a little bit closer. Still some season left. It's the last regular season weekend, but Hoover starting on Tuesday. There will be a new designated hitter for Tennessee. They used 3 in game 1 last week against Vanderbilt. Reese Chapman takes the spot of Colby Backus. The sophomore will stand in .315 average, 27 RBIs and 5 home runs. Only got 1 at bat against Vanderbilt. Did home run in the midweeks against Belmont. And again, just another option for Tennessee in the DH spot.
Coach Vitello spoke on Chapman, and he said the key to his success is just relaxing in the box and letting the hard work that he's put in pay off. He's put so much preparation into his game, his swing. He's definitely ready for these situations. He's just got to trust it.
That 0-2 is low and skips away. And Chapman, .211 average in 19 games played in SEC. He's made 13 starts. So again, hasn't completely jumped and taken control of that starting DH spot. But it's definitely one of those options, and likely going to see him and some others throughout the weekend.
So many weapons that Tennessee can pull off of the bench.
That 1-2 swung through, and Chapman goes down as Tyler Pitzer has been really good out of the pen. He's faced 5 batters and retired all 5 of them.
This is exactly what South Carolina needed. He gets the strikeout on that rising fastball.
That's the first strikeout for Pitzer, the DH spot for Tennessee, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Chapman goes down, 2 down, no one on here in the 6th. And Cal Stark will try to jumpstart the inning. He scored after he walked his last at-bat in the 4th. And that is a big swing and a loud pop of the mitt. Tyler Pitzer in command has calmed the waves a bit here. It was this Tennessee offense. 6 runs through 4 innings. Scoreless frame in the 5th. so far steady in the 6th.
And that's so impressive to see from a freshman coming out and being able to really keep this Tennessee offense at bay since he's been out there.
The 2-1 just misses, ball 3. And a 3-2 coming up. Stark in the 9-hole, battling with the freshman pitcher. He's trying to get through the 6th. Gamecocks within 4. They're going to need a big back third of this ball game. At 3-2, has Stark swinging. Second punch out for Pitzer this frame. He goes 1-2-3 once again.
Just work for him, move through the zone.
Only one blemish on his line so far, and that's the Cole Messina home run. He's allowed 2 hits that 1 run, walked 1 batter, and 7 strikeouts. Continuing to pick up where he's left off, has done really well in the role where he lets Chris Stamos go a few innings, get through the lineup, and then attacks from there. And he's looking to pick up yet another win. He's got 9 wins, tied for the top in the SEC. And has been one of the best on this team of just closing up ball games with this bullpen role, like he did last week against Vanderbilt. Just took it straight to the end. Eight, 9-1 for South Carolina, due up in the 7th. LeCroy can't connect. 2-2. LeCroy 0 for 2. 8, 9, and 1 in the order have not gotten a hit yet today.
Just speaks to the effectiveness of Stamos and now Causey.
Causey up to 92 strikeouts now on this season. It's a Friday night starter last season with Jacksonville State. That pitch almost hits LeCroy. Has hit a pair of batters already. That one got away from him.
And I've said this already, but unfortunately that is part of being a pitcher that has so much movement. Sometimes it's just going to get away from you.
Causey on the run, makes the play. Had to hustle off the mound, but he got it on the run.
And let's talk about Causey fielding his position today. He has been fantastic at making those plays. Especially that one, him having to come off of the mound to make that catch over the shoulder.
Yeah, that one gets down. It's in no man's land, and LeCroy's at first. A good reaction time off the bump. Now Gavin Casas, third baseman in the 9 spot. We'll stare at strike 1. He's 0 for 2. Got 8 home runs on the year. That's tied for 3rd on the team. 5 of them have been in conference play. 2 hits last week with a home run. South Carolina, their offense has been driven by a pair of solo shots. But that won't get it done with what Tennessee's offense has done on the other end. Misses low. .71 pitches for Causey. 72. And Casas just trying to stab at it. No chance. Strikeout number 8.
A.J. Causey just continuing to keep his foot on the gas pedal. He is not letting up today. Strikeout number 8.
That's 2 up, 2 down, and now back to the top of the order with Austin Brendling. And Kazi has just been extremely difficult to figure out. It's Brendley's 3rd time matching up with Kazi. You know, what's got to change here for this Gamecock order to try to barrel up a few balls and get something moving from an offensive standpoint?
I think right there he knows that's the pitch that he's got to swing at. The pitch is moving away. He's not going to be able to get good barrel on those balls. And then also with home plate umpire being tight on those corners, you know you've got to swing at the ones that are coming in. That pitch is actually moving back onto the plate a little bit, so you'll be able to get good barrel to that ball.
2-strike count. Brendling swinging. Burke has it, and the throw is going to go wide. Stark backing it up, so Brendling won't be able to advance, but hit that one perfectly right in between first and second.
Right there, Brendling, he pulls that ball, and Burke able to get the glove on it, but because his momentum is taking him so far in the other direction, he's not able to turn as quickly as he would like to and make that throw.
Chance here for Ethan Petrie. Runner on. That's just the 4th base hit for South Carolina. And whatever it takes as well. It's not the biggest barrel you found, but put it in a spot where you could reach and get aboard and set up your power hitter, Ethan Petrie, up the middle. That's the 2nd hit for Petrie, and back-to-back now for South Carolina with 2 outs.
Now we're seeing South Carolina start to figure Kazi out a little bit and pass the bat. That ball hit right back up the middle.
And it's these moments here you have to jump on. Is now Frank Anderson out to have a word with A.J. Kazi. You can get the track records there. Kazi's a guy who's been able to work through a couple of highs and lows this season. Jackson, left field, drilling underneath it, and he's got it. Battled the dusk here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Jackson feels like he just missed it. We head to the bottom of the 7th. With just how hot his bat has been down the stretch.
He has Luke Lipsius, the previous record holder, and Christian Moore now already surpasses that record by 13 home runs.
I mean, you look top to bottom in that list, it's a lot of Tony Vitello era players, excluding Todd Helton, obviously, who's now a Hall of Famer. Those 4 above Todd Helton, all from Tony Vitello's staff. Just goes to show you how much power these teams have had of recent.
We've talked about what Vitello has been able to do in the transfer portal and recruiting, bringing kids in who have that kind of potential, and then also having such a great coaching staff around him that's able to develop these players and bring out the best of the best.
3-2 count now for Moore. Doesn't like that strike 2 call. Three-two on the way. Foul back.
Christian Moore right on that ball.
Seventh pitch on the way. Battle between Pitzer and Moore. And it's crushed right field way, but foul. Pitzer has not allowed a Tennessee base runner since entering in the 5th. Pair of 1-2-3s for the freshman. Moore, right field, make it three for Sema off the wall, so close. He thought it was gone. He started slow walking down first, just caught the corner.
I think we all thought that ball was gone. And I mean, it is scorched. That is a scorched ball. As it continues out to the outfield, falls just short of the Tennessee bullpen. So that will be a loud single for Christian Moore.
I mean, right off the top of the wall, fooled me. As Semo was looking back at the dugout like, well, probably could have gotten to second there, but thought I had number three. He'll take a third hit. It's the first hit that Tyler Pitzer has allowed.
He's going to breathe a sigh of relief that that wasn't over the wall.
Turns it over to Blake Burke. RBI double in his last at-bat back in the fourth. That was Tennessee's sixth run of the ball game.
Good call.
Ball skips. Moore will shuffle back to first. Good block from Messina. Moore on the move. Burke swinging. Goes down over to second. Strike him out. Throw him out. It's Messina. The dart to second. Moore wants a review.
Come on, guys.
And Burke swings at that pitch in the turf. Nice job by Messina getting there. And I do think that Christian Moore made it there in time.
Yeah, the feet first slide. Take a look at it. Tennessee is 1 for 1 on overturning challenges so far tonight.
The call of out is going to be overturned.
And there's the overturn. 2 for 2. Tennessee on challenges.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the right call. Christian Moore gets there in plenty of time. And then his body doesn't come off the bag ever. It actually just continues over the bag.
Batting the third baseman, number 11, Billy Amick.
So Moore able to steal second. That's his third stolen base on the year. And he's in scoring position for Billy Amick now. With just one down, it will be a strikeout still for Blake Burke. Amick 1 for 3. Off speed, Amick fouls it left field side. He's off the off speed. Pitzer will have to deal with his first adversity here with the runner in scoring position. Amick and Dreiling on deck, just one out. Off speed, Amick, third base way. That's going to get past Casas and roll towards the corner. Christian Moore will score. That's an RBI for Billy Barrels.
Tennessee comes up big again with runners in scoring position. Billy Amick hits this ball right down the left field line over third base. It's going to continue all the way to the corner. That's going to allow Christian Moore to score pretty easily. And they just traded places. Billy Amick now at second base.
RBI number 49 for Amick this season. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Tennessee by 5 runs once again. That's a hard hit ball down the line. But for Casas, that feels like maybe a play you could have knocked down.
Yeah, that's a tough situation there for Casas. It was a hard hit ball, and I think he was playing a little far off the line like he is now. But Tennessee, they've done a great job this season hitting with runners in scoring position, and Coach Vitello said, I think it's just guys being competitive to get us in those situations. We saw Christian Moore with that stolen base, and I mean, if he wasn't competitive in that situation, if he wasn't aggressive on the base paths, may not have scored there.
One-two to Dreiling. Dreiling crushes this one. Way back and out of here. Two-run blast for Dylan Dreiling. Homer number 17 for the sophomore.
Dylan Dreiling just keeps it going. Beautiful contact with that pitch. And it goes all the way out into the parking lot for the Volunteers. And I think the home run ball is contagious tonight for these Tennessee hitters.
That is such a powerful swing. Able to drive into that part of the park. Dreiling hits Tennessee's 4th home run here of the evening, and it's been all Volunteers now.
Now batting
7-run advantage now in the 7th.
Hunter Inslee.
Dreiling's home run goes 421. 107 off the bat.
Tyler Pitzer had done a nice job in the 2 previous innings, keeping Tennessee scoreless, but they were able to adjust. They figured him out, and now they've been able to put up a 3 spot here in the bottom of the 7th.
.3-0 start to Inslee. Pitzer just trying to get things settled. That top half of the order is dangerous, and that was the first time Pitzer got a look at Christian Moore and Billy Amick. And then Dylan Dreiling made him pay, and now a walk to Hunter Inslee.
And the freshman, he's learning some tough lessons right now about what it's like to pitch in the SEC against some of the most dangerous hitters in the country.
Fars Tears hit his 16th home run, and again, some of these top Tennessee hitters have only grown their numbers. You could realistically have 5 guys for Tennessee hit 20 home runs this season.
And it really doesn't surprise me that they've been able to do this in this first game against South Carolina, but it does at the same time because it is the SEC. You're facing such good competition, especially day one.
You know, the thing from here, though, for Tennessee, I mean, you think back to the last time they played at home, a run rule win over Missouri. You hit a ton of home runs, and then the bats go a bit quiet those second days. You get shut out in that final game against Vanderbilt. Key now is, can you keep this offensive intensity through a full weekend, which they've shown in series before. There have been times where the bats have slowly grown quiet throughout a weekend, and you get into postseason type style where you're going to have to play multiple games in a weekend. You're not going to want drop-off as you go.
Right, and this could be that turning point for the Tennessee offense. Been a little slow recently, having to find other ways to win the ball game, not just relying on those home run balls, but if this is that turning point and they are finding themselves offensively again, this is exactly when you want to do it.
Tiers goes down with the big cut. He's 1 for 4. That is the second out of the inning for Pitzer. 4th strikeout, now in 2 2/3 thrown. You know, if anything, those 2 1-2-3s were huge for South Carolina. At least eat up some frames. Again, this is South Carolina team that, you know, Mark Kingston feels like, hey, if they can get some quality innings from this pitching staff, really find their groove, it could be a complete dangerous team come postseason. Dean Curley high in the air. Final weekend now of the regular season. It moves quickly, and now both these teams having to prepare for that next stage.
Definitely going into postseason, it's the best time of the year, in my opinion. Watching the selection show is so fun. Seeing, do the teams that you think deserve the spots get the spots? And then, honestly, it really just raises the level of baseball, in my opinion. It's like a brand new season starting from scratch.
Cole Messina right away here in the 8th. A single. That is his second hit. He's now 2 for 3. Well, Tennessee right now projected the 2nd overall seed by D1 Baseball. This team making a look at 4 straight Super Regionals. With that 2 seed, would be in a position to host a Super if they make it that far. South Carolina on the other end, as mentioned, they're not hosting currently. They're projected a 2 seed in the Clemson Regional, the 6th overall seed, and that one would be interesting. 2 heated rivalries, or 2 heated rivals. Clemson and South Carolina faced twice earlier this season, and Clemson got the better of them both times. Even though Clemson did get the 2 wins, it was a thrilling pair of games.
I'm sure anytime you have a big in-state rivalry like that one, they're going to be tough games.
Back-to-back hits here to start the inning for South Carolina. Parker Nolan, the Knoxville native, aboard.
That's a hard ground ball hit right in the gap. Christian Moore tries to get the glove on it, just not quick enough. We saw South Carolina start to figure out A.J. Causey just a little bit in that last inning with a couple of hits, and now it seems like it's starting to carry over into this inning.
Yeah, 2 aboard with no outs for South Carolina. They face a 7-run deficit down to their final 6 outs. A promising start now to the 8th.
This continues. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Nate Snead, potentially Kirby Cannell, closing out this game. Both of those guys have done a great job so far this year for the Volunteers.
Yeah, there's a bit of activity out in the pen for Tennessee, and Tony Vitello takes that approach to where, you know, we're going to just see how the series goes as well. Nothing truly set in stone aside from, you know, Drew Beam on Saturday, and the feeling is typically Xander Sechrist at least to start on Sunday. Other than that, I've seen Nate Snead a couple of thinking about his next move, or if you stick with Causey for how much longer. Pitch counts at 86. You're working with a comfortable advantage. Here's Kennedy Jones. That's high in the left field. Dreiling called upon. Battling the lights, he's got it. Jones just gets under it. He's 0 for 4 here in game 1.
And it looks like Coach Vitello is going to take a trip out to the mound.
Yeah, that's going to do it for A.J. Causey. 5 1/3. It gives up 1 run on the Cole Messina home run, but 8 strikeouts. Just another really good
Here by Coach Vitello. Kirby Cannell does such a great job against lefties. Now facing Dalton Reeves.
And Reeves is 1 for 3, had a double back in the 4th. First pitch swinging, it's up the middle, a base hit. At third is Messina. He's going to take a hard round in. The throw will not be at home in time. It'll be an RBI for Dalton Reeves. Gamecocks back within 6 runs.
What an aggressive plate appearance here. Dalton Reeves swinging at the first
Now batting the
pitch.
shortstop, number 5, Talmadge LeCroy.
Hard line drive up the middle. Tennessee still leading by 6, though.
Yeah, again, it's a long mountain to climb here for South Carolina, but you have to love the start and response here in the top of the 8th. Give up the 3-run home run. You think back, I mean, right now you would have had the tying run of the plate if not for what Dylan Dreiling did a half inning ago. Talmadge LeCroy will get a chance. 3 of the first 4 Gamecocks with a single to start this 8th. Still runners on and damage to be done. LeCroy 0 for 3. Fouled away, 0-2 start.
And Kirby, he will actually pitch from opposite sides of the rubber when throwing to different batters. With right-handed batters, he pitches from the right side of the mound, which allows him to throw the breaking balls on the back door as well as at the back foot. And then with left-handed batters, because of his 3/4 arm angle with a lot of breaking balls, the ball will start behind the left-handed batter, making it harder to track as it breaks across the plate.
One-two, smacked out into right. Tears backtracking, he's got it. Over to third goes Nolan. Tears throw, almost had him, but Amick can't gobble it up.
Kavaris Tears has a cannon in right. Almost gets the runner at third.
Now batting the third baseman, number 52, Gavin Casas.
Yeah, that is a dangerous arm. Parker Nolan decided to test it, and Tears almost made him pay. That's a tough play for Amick, just to try to avoid a sliding man running in and then field the ball and get a tag. Coming in that hot.
Yeah, and the ball, it did one hop, so trying to figure out where it's going to hop at, try to get the glove on it, and then also avoid that sliding runner.
Runners on the corners for the Gamecocks with 2 down. Gavin Casas in a big spot, looking to deliver late. Check swing, he did go around for strike 1. Casas looking for his first hit of this one. He's 0 for 3. That pitch is in there for strike 2. Casas acted like that one was a bit more up and in.
Yeah, I don't think Casas agreed with that strike call.
0-2. And that's outside from Cannell. RBI single for Dalton Reeves, the lone damage in the inning, but 3 hits have woken up these Gamecock bats. Big chance for Casas. Cannell shuts the door and strands a pair. Big time K for Kirby.
1 run, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on base.
Tennessee are 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. That's been the big question mark. Colby Bankus started, and then Reese Chapman has taken over. And the first pitch is inside. Again, game 2 will be tomorrow, Friday night, 6:30 Eastern is the planned start time. Drew Beam is the projected starter for Tennessee. TBD still for South Carolina. expect at some point to see Eli Jones, 13 starts. The righty has typically been that game 2 guy. Everyone in the SEC doing Thursday through Saturday series all week before Hoover starts on Tuesday.
Coach Kingston did say just depending on how this first game goes is really going to depend on the pitching.
This one crushed from Chapman, deep left field. It's going to bounce off the base of the wall. It's going to be a loud single to start.
Reese Chapman has come in this game and done fantastic. That ball is hit hard off the wall, a little bit higher, and that would have been another home run for the Volunteers.
First DH to reach for Tennessee in this one, and that is a leadoff single. That'll bring up Cal Stark. Again, Tennessee obviously focused on their series, but they are a game behind Kentucky in the race for an SEC regular season title. Need at least Vanderbilt to win one, and then Tennessee would have to sweep South Carolina to have a share. Right now, top of the 7th in Lexington, Kentucky leading Vanderbilt 9-4. Another big series in the SEC, Arkansas, Texas A&M. It's a top 5 series. Arkansas, similar record, 19-8 in the SEC as Tennessee. That game gets started tonight from College Station at 9 Eastern, just underway. The count is 1-2 now to Cal Stark. The catcher is 0 for 2. Off-speed misses from Quinn. Count now even.
Cal Stark looking to turn over this lineup here. Want to have at least 2 runners on for Christian Moore.
And down goes Stark. Good get for Drake Quinn for the first out.
Nice breaking ball on the outside corner, coming in at 77 miles per hour, but Quinn now has to face the hot bat of Christian Moore, who has been almost unstoppable this whole game.
Big time performance once again for Christian Moore. 3 for 4, 2 homers, and has set a new program record tonight. Add a single to the mix back in the 7th. The only time he's gotten out was a hard hit line drive. And off speed misses 1-1. From Moore.
And Quinn has thrown Christian Moore 3 off-speed pitches, so trying to pitch backwards to him right now to prevent any hard hits.
That one runs inside and gets Moore. So 4th time he's reached. Pair of home runs and a single. That time he has to wear it.
Looks like that hit right under the elbow guard. Right there on that forearm. You know that has to hurt.
Painful way to get aboard. It's the fourth time he will have touch base here tonight as he shakes it off. And we'll set the table now for Blake Burke. 2 on and 1 down. Burke 1 for 4, an RBI double back in the fourth. Three-quarter swing, he went around. That's inside. We've just seen some of the best versions of Blake Burke and Christian Moore this season. They were big parts of that 2022 team, both kind of interchangeable at the DH spot depending on the matchup.
They were able to build off of that 2022 season, just continue to get better.
Potential double play ball, there it is. The ground out from Burke, gets more going to second, and that's going to retire the side. So on to the ninth we go. Game down the stretch.
Definitely, it makes the postseason a little bit easier, able to take a breath knowing that you've been there and done that in the toughest conference. And it's not just in baseball, it's in softball as well. All 13 SEC teams have made it into a regional Tennessee softball hosting this weekend.
Off the barrel. Tears has it in right for round number 1. AC game 2 tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern, Friday night in Knoxville. Volunteers on their way to a Game 1 victory. A win would be their 20th this season in SEC play. And it would be their 3rd time getting 20 wins in conference in the last 4 years.
See the shift on here for Petrie. But even with a solo shot here, Tennessee is in a really great spot to close things out.
Petrie quickly down 0-2 to Cannell. And there's strike 3. Petrie down swinging. 2-hit night for him, but that time Cannell wins the battle.
Now batting the right fielder, number 6.
Great fastball there on the outside corner for the strikeout. Kirby Cannell, so efficient in his appearance.
And Cannell has been efficient, an inning and a third, only the 1 hit. And now a pair of strikeouts, and South Carolina down to their final out this evening. It's Blake Jackson, who's 0 for 4. And a good start for Cannell. It has been record-breaking crowds all year at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, and they've packed it out here for Game 1 of this final home regular season series.
You can see a lot of the Vol faithfuls on their feet, looking for a strikeout for out number 3 to end the game.
High chopper, Cannell on the run. He's got it over his shoulder. He makes the play. Tennessee grabs Game 1 over South Carolina, their 20th win in conference. thinking about his next move, or if you stick with Kazi for how much longer. Pitch counts at 86. You're working with a comfortable advantage. Here's Kennedy Jones. That's high into left field. Dreiling called upon. Battling the lights. He's got it. Jones just gets under it. He's 0 for 4 here in game 1.
And it looks like Coach Vitello is going to take a trip out to the mound.
Yeah, that's going to do it for A.J. Kazi. 5 1/3. It gives up 1 run on the Cole Messina home run, but 8 strikeouts. Just another really good